All right, so this, of course, is the big moment in Sri Lanka. Polling stations have now shut for the 17 million voters to elect their country's next president. The voting began at 7 a.m. local time across 13,000 polling stations. It progressed with heavy security, with the booths manned by public officials and the police. The voting was by and large peaceful across the country. The voter turnout in several districts is reported to be about 60%, with the exceptions being in 2 districts. And in both the districts, the turnout was said to be about 35%. The final results of the polls are anticipated by Sunday morning. Now remember, this was the first election in Sri Lanka since the 2022 financial crisis, when the country's economy had buckled and defaulted on foreign debt due to critical foreign exchange shortage. And here are some of the voter reactions that have come in.
අපිට සාහනයක් ලැබෙන්නයි මොකක් හරි දෙයකින් කෑම මිල මොකක් හරි දෙයකින් අඩු වෙනවා නම් එයා තමයි අපිට ජනාධිපති.
සාධාරණ විදිහට රට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳයි. සාධාරණ විදිහට රට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් නම් හොඳ නායකයෙක් එන්න ඕනේ. දිනුදු පොල් කියන බලන්න ඕනේ. රටේ හැමෝටම එක විදිහටම ඉන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට වාතාවරණය හැදෙන්න ඕනේ.
Now, the economic recovery is, of course, the core campaign issue for the 38 candidates that were in the fray for the presidency. The country defaulted on local and foreign debt, which totaled to a staggering $83 billion. And the government has already restructured about $17 billion of its debt. Economy remains one of the biggest single issues that is driving the people and deciding as to which way they would vote. All right, now to give us more details on what, of course, is happening at this moment in Sri Lanka, we're being joined by our correspondent, Dasuni Athauda, who is joining us live on this broadcast. Dasuni, the voting has, of course, come to an end at this moment. Do we know as to how many people, in fact, turned out to vote today? What is the voter percentage, considering as to how crucial these elections are?
Well, absolutely. I'm currently at one of the main counting centers here in Colombo. And as you can see all around me, activities are bustling. And a lot of these election officials, along with security, are now arriving with a steady inflow of ballot boxes. Earlier, when we spoke to the returning officers here at this center, they said that counting will most definitely begin by 6 p.m., which is right now. And if there are certain delays, that they will then proceed to start counting from 7 p.m. Polling has ended. Now comes the important question as to what is the total voter turnout. According to initial statistics that we have received so far, it is clear that many electorates have seen a voter turnout between 70 to 80%. However, it is also expected that the total all-island voter turnout will be in the 70s range and might not be matched to what we saw in 2019. 2019 saw a staggering 82.7% voter turnout, which was extremely positive in terms of elections. So we are yet to see the all-island voter percentage, but certainly behind me, the ballot boxes just keep coming.
All right, absolutely indeed. Those are some very interesting visuals just behind you. The counting of the votes, of course, will begin. But do we at this moment know, Dasuni, as to how long this process of counting of votes will go on, and when will we have a clear picture as to who's, of course, emerged the winner?
Yes, the same officers who are here in the center did say that they are quite confident in releasing at least several results before midnight tonight. And many of these results will most likely be the postal votes which were casted a few days ago. So they will certainly be starting with counting those postal votes and then moving on to whatever that was polled today. This is supposed to go on throughout tonight and towards the early morning hours tomorrow. So stay with us and I will definitely be updating you on the latest.
Absolutely indeed, Dasuni. We'll of course come back to you as more details emerge in this story. And also on the broadcast, we've got Dr. Rajni Gamage, who's a research fellow at the Institute of South Asian Studies, who's joining us on the broadcast. Now, Dr. Gamage, this is a very crucial election for the people in Sri Lanka, considering the kind of, economic upheaval that we've witnessed in the last 2 years. Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe, the incumbent president, has he done enough to earn the confidence of the people in Sri Lanka so that they would vote him back to power again? What's your take on this?
The incumbent Ranil Wickremesinghe has certainly, under the past 2 years, under his government, led to the improvement of key macroeconomic figures. We have seen this in the rate of inflation, as well as in terms of some of the recent debt restructuring. However, this has not triggered sufficient confidence and trust among the people who are feeling the hard impact of the economic crisis and its after effects.
That's a crucial part of it, because at the end of the day, people vote on the basis of whether their lives have improved or not. And what we've witnessed in the aftermath of the economic upheaval is that inflation has gone through the roof. Poverty is a big concern there. And the cost of living crisis that the people in Sri Lanka are having to put up with, along with taxes that have been increased in the last 2 years. How are the people in Sri Lanka reacting to the economic situation at this moment?
Very negatively. During the economic crisis, of course, we had the disruption of electricity and fuel supplies, and economic conditions were very dire. The current economic conditions over the past 2 years since then have certainly been better, but the after effects of the crisis continue to increase. This would also mean that any new government that comes into power now will also face a very uphill task of having to ease this economic burden.
Now, Sri Lanka in its elections has an interesting sort of a trend. It tends to vote out the incumbent. Are we expecting to see something on those lines, or will Ranil Wickremesinghe trump those trends and manage to come back elected again as the president?
Since 2015, Sri Lanka has not seen a president that has stayed for longer than one term. And given the fact that other countries that have gone through economic crisis of this scale have also had a series of successive governments coming into power, there is reason to surmise that the current government may not secure a victory this time.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. It'll be very interesting to see as to what, of course, happens once the results start coming through in the morning. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Rajni Gamage, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you very much.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.